Prepare your heart, for an unexpected encounter is drawing near, and it may open an entirely new direction for your life. I am not telling you this to frighten you or to make you look upon everyone with suspicion, but so that you may enter that moment with awareness, peace, and steadfastness. The person who is about to appear may know more about you than you realize your name, the journey you have traveled, and even the parts of your story you once tried to hide because you feared being judged. Their arrival may come without warning, on a day that seems ordinary, in a place where you never imagined anything important would happen. Yet, my beloved child, great turning points do not always arrive with the sound of trumpets. Sometimes they enter quietly, and only afterward do you realize that, from that moment onward, nothing remained the same. I know that when you hear that someone understands your past, your heart may immediately begin to close. You may wonder what they have heard, how much they know, and how they are looking at you. Old memories may rise again, making you want to withdraw before the conversation even begins. But I want you to remember that you are no longer the fragile person you once were. You have crossed roads that, at one time, you believed you would never survive. You rose after disappointment, learned to smile even while carrying pain within, and became deeper through every trial. Your past does not contain only your mistakes. It also records the times you persevered, the nights you lifted yourself again, and the quiet choices that helped you mature. Therefore, do not bow your head simply because someone knows where you have been. What matters is not where you once fell, but what you learned when you stood again. Your name has traveled to places your feet have never entered, not because you tried to display yourself, but because the things you have done in secret have left a mark. Some have heard of your patience. Some have witnessed your honesty in the way you work, and others have observed how you preserved kindness, even when you were treated unfairly. You may believe that no one noticed those efforts, but good seeds never truly disappear. They quietly travel farther than you are able to measure. The encounter that is approaching may be the result of what you sowed during days when no one applauded. No one recognized you, and even you did not know whether you were walking in the right direction. Therefore, when that moment comes, do not regard it as a small coincidence. Listen calmly and recognize that a door may be opening from a place you never thought to look. However, this does not mean that everything will feel easy or comfortable from the very beginning. The encounter may touch a sensitive place within you. An unexpected question may leave you unsettled. A reference to your past may make you feel as though you have been brought beneath a light that is too bright. In that moment, do not quickly assume that you are being attacked. Pause, take a deep breath, and observe what is truly happening. Not every exposure is intended to humiliate you. Sometimes what is brought into the light is the very thing that needs healing, so that you no longer have to spend your strength concealing it. I am not leading you into this meeting so that you will carry additional shame. I am leading you there so that you may see that what once made you tremble no longer possesses enough power to control you. In that moment, you do not need to create a perfect image of yourself. Neither must you reveal every detail merely to prove that you are honest. Wisdom will teach you what to say, what to keep private, and when to remain silent. Respond from a place of peace, not from the fear of being misunderstood. Look directly without arrogance. Remain gentle without becoming weak. And speak sincerely without allowing your boundaries to be violated. You do not owe anyone the entirety of your life story. Yet when something must be spoken in order to open the way to freedom, do not allow shame to seal your lips. I will help you distinguish between wise silence and silence born from fear. One protects you, the other imprisons you. I want you to step out of the invisible cages you once built to hide from the eyes of others. You concealed certain things not because you desired to live dishonestly, but because you once believed that, if others knew, they would no longer respect or love you. I understand why. I know how hard you tried to remain strong so that everything would not collapse. Yet some burdens become heavier the longer they remain hidden. You have had to remain constantly watchful, constantly calculating, and constantly afraid that one day the past might return. I do not want you to continue living like someone running away from your own journey. What has passed does not need to be erased from your memory for you to have peace. It needs to be placed where it belongs. Let it become a lesson, not a sentence. Let it become evidence that you were refined, not a chain that pulls you back into painful days. This encounter may also reveal qualities within you that you have never recognized. When another person speaks of what they have observed in you, you may be surprised because you still believe you are not good enough. But, my beloved child, I have quietly built endurance, courage, and the ability to remain standing in difficult situations within you. What you once called cracks may have become places where light passed through so that others could find hope. The things you considered weaknesses may have taught you compassion, patience, and the ability to listen without judging too quickly. Therefore, this person's arrival may not only expose what you fear, it may also reveal the value you have underestimated for far too long. I want you to look upon yourself with new eyes, not through the accusations of the past, but through the fruit of a long journey of refinement. If the conversation brings you before an important decision, do not answer too quickly, simply because your emotions are rising. Some opportunities appear brilliant on the surface, but require careful examination. Other things may initially make you cautious while secretly containing a beautiful path. Listen beyond the words that are spoken. Observe the other person's attitude, consistency, and motives. What is truly meant for you will not require you to betray good principles in order to obtain it. Neither will it force you to act through panic. When you need time, have the courage to ask for it. When something is unclear, ask questions. When your heart does not yet have peace, do not allow pressure to make you say yes. I am not only preparing an opportunity, I am also preparing the wisdom you need to recognize how to walk through the door. Do not turn away merely because the first moment feels uncomfortable. Growth often begins at the boundary between what is familiar and what is unknown. If you always run from every situation that touches your insecurity, you will continue to be controlled by it. This time, I want you to remain long enough to see the truth. I do not mean remaining in a place where you are harmed or disrespected, but remaining aware enough not to decide solely from an old reflex. You have been accustomed to withdrawing before others had the chance to understand you, and to closing doors yourself because you feared rejection. But this door may not be coming to cast you aside. It may be coming to call you into a new position. Give yourself the opportunity to listen fully before reaching a conclusion. After this encounter, you may begin to understand why so many things in the past had to unfold as they did. Delays, relationships that ended, and seasons when you felt forgotten may begin joining together into a clearer picture. You will realize that some doors closed not to punish you, but to prevent you from moving in the wrong direction. Some people left because space had to be created for something more suitable to approach. Certain quiet seasons gave you enough depth so that you would not become overwhelmed when a greater opportunity appeared. I have not wasted a single one of your tears. Everything you endured while remaining upright has contributed to preparing you for the moment when you must stand firmly beneath the eyes of those who are now looking toward you. Therefore, do not be afraid when hidden things are brought into the light. Allow the light to cleanse what must be released and reveal what deserves to be preserved. You will not enter this encounter alone. I will be with you in every word, every silence, and every decision. I will remind you when gentleness is needed, warn you when boundaries must be protected, and give you strength when something unexpected appears. You were not chosen because you never made mistakes, but because you have been refined enough that your mistakes no longer define you. Step forward with clear eyes, humility, and quiet courage. What is about to be revealed is not intended to bury you. It may be the very evidence that your season of hiding has been completed, and that the time to enter a new chapter is directly before you. You are not late in your journey, because what I have prepared for you has never been limited by age, circumstances, or the clocks of the world. You may have looked at others many times and wondered why they seemed to move faster, why they had already reached the things you were still quietly praying for. Yet I want you to understand that every life is guided according to its own rhythm. What was right for another person in one season may not have been right for you at the same time. I do not build you through haste, nor do I place precious things in your hands before the foundation within you is strong enough. The years when you thought you were standing still were actually the years when I was quietly arranging, correcting, and deepening your understanding. Therefore, do not call that journey a delay. It was preparation. Do not call the doors that once closed failures. They were protection. And do not believe that your moment has passed, because what I appointed for you is still approaching with a precision that no human opinion can alter. I know that you once feared time would take away your opportunity to be loved, understood, and accompanied. You wondered whether age would make beautiful things more distant, whether old wounds would make it difficult for you to open your heart, or whether the years that had passed meant that you were no longer suited for a new beginning. Yet, my beloved child, time cannot wear away what I have preserved. On the contrary, time has helped you recognize your worth, taught you not to place trust too quickly in shallow things, and kept you from being carried away by promises without foundations. You are not the person you were years ago, the person who might have confused attention with love, temporary emotion with commitment, or sweet words with a sincere heart. What you have endured has not made you less worthy. It has made you deeper, wiser, and mature enough to recognize true peace when it appears. The person being led toward you will see parts of you that many others overlooked. They will not be drawn only to what you display on your brightest days. They will also recognize your strength in quiet moments, when you are not attempting to impress anyone or seeking attention. They will notice the kindness hidden in the way you treat those who can offer you nothing in return. They will recognize your patience through small things, in the way you listen, in the way you do not rush to conclusions, and in the way you continue choosing gentleness after seasons that gave you every reason to become cold. Your presence will give them a sense of safety that they have not easily found elsewhere. Not because you are perfect, but because when they are near you, they will feel sincerity. They will not need to pretend to be strong, hide their weariness, or struggle to be heard. What is forming within their heart did not arise from a carefully calculated plan. They may not have been searching for it, and they may even have believed that they were not ready to enter a deep connection. Yet some encounters do not begin with human intention. They begin when I awaken recognition within two hearts that have been prepared through different journeys. I do not force them to feel anything, but I can bring light so that they recognize a value they did not previously know how to see. They may have tried to set their feelings aside, become busier so that they would not have to confront them, or persuade themselves that what they felt was merely ordinary sympathy. However, what has been touched by sincerity does not disappear easily simply because someone turns away for a moment. It returns to their thoughts, not as an obsession, but as a gentle reminder that something meaningful is waiting to be understood more deeply. Even so, I do not want you to chase vague signs or build a story from things that have not been confirmed. My guidance does not lead you into confusion. It does not force you to analyze every word, every glance, and every silence merely to find a fragment of hope. What comes from me will gradually bring clarity, not prolonged uncertainty. You will not need to manipulate, control, or force anything to happen before its proper time. A meaningful connection is not built through impatience, but through honest presence and intentional steps. Allow what is forming to reveal itself according to its natural rhythm. Do not pull a flower from its petals simply because you want to see its beauty sooner. What is forced open too early may be damaged, but what is nurtured with patience will blossom by itself when it is ready. Therefore, keep your heart open without abandoning discernment. I am not asking you to ignore what makes you uneasy, nor am I teaching you to close your eyes to unhealthy signs simply because you desire a relationship. Trust in me never opposes wisdom. You still need to observe how this person behaves when things do not go their way, how they respect your boundaries, how they speak about others, and how they take responsibility for their own mistakes. Look at consistency rather than listening only to promises. Give their actions enough time to reveal their nature. Yet, at the same time, do not allow old wounds to make you suspicious of every good thing. There is a great difference between the voice of discernment and the voice of fear. Discernment gives you calmness to observe. Fear makes you want to run, even when no danger is present. Discernment helps you ask the right questions at the right time. Fear invents negative answers before the truth has appeared. I am teaching you to recognize that difference through peace. When fear speaks, it often reminds you of what happened before and tries to convince you that everyone will eventually disappoint you. It makes you withdraw, become guarded, and leave before another person has the opportunity to understand you. But my guidance does not drive you through panic. I may tell you to slow down, but I will not make you despair. I may remind you to keep your distance, but I will not sow bitterness within you. I may show you what is not suitable, yet I will still preserve gentleness in your heart. Therefore, when you are uncertain, do not close the door too quickly. Step back far enough to observe, pray long enough to listen, and allow time to test what words cannot prove. The right person will not regard your caution as an insult. They will respect your process because they understand that genuine trust cannot be demanded, it must be built. Do not allow numbers, opinion, or the expectations of others to make you reject something good before it has the opportunity to enter. Some will say that you are too old to begin again, too independent to learn how to walk alongside another person, or too experienced to believe in a sincere connection. But they do not know what I have done during your hidden years. They do not know how many times you had to rise alone, how many illusions you had to release, or how many layers of pain had to be healed so that you could view love with more mature eyes. Others may look at your age, but I look at your preparation. They may count the years that have passed, but I see the lessons that have been completed. What I place within your life cannot be cancelled by an uninformed opinion. Nor does it become weaker because you endured more seasons of waiting than others. What is approaching may surprise you, because it may not resemble what you once imagined. This person may appear through an ordinary circumstance, at a time when you are not searching, or in a form that differs greatly from the patterns you once expected. Do not quickly assume that it cannot be an answer because of this. I often bring profound things through simple forms to see whether you are quiet enough to recognize them. Pay attention to peace rather than relying only upon outward brilliance. Observe whether the connection helps you become more truthful, more stable, and more aligned with your purpose. What is good will not require you to lose your dignity in order to keep it. It will not force you to silence your voice or cause you to continually doubt your own worth. It may require you to grow, adjust, and learn healthy compromise, but it will never require you to betray yourself. My beloved child, something deeply meaningful is beginning to take shape, and I ask only that you do not turn away too quickly because you fear history will repeat itself. The past has taught you, but it is not permitted to rule your future. Carry the wisdom you have gained, but leave behind the harsh conclusions created by pain. You do not need to rush forward to hold on to anyone, nor must you run away to protect yourself from every possibility. Stand firmly in your own value. Give the other person the opportunity to approach sincerely, and allow what is forming to prove its nature through time. I do not promise you a journey without questions, but I will not allow you to walk alone through those questions. I will remind you when to slow down, encourage you when to open your heart, and protect you from things that look beautiful but have no foundation. Your moment has not been missed. It is approaching in a way that suits the person you have become. Receive it gently. Walk in discernment, and remember that what truly belongs to you will never require you to lose your peace in order to possess it. When you meet this person, the first thing you feel will not be confusion, but a deep peace, as though the two of you have recognized one another for a very long time. The encounter will not require elaborate introductions, efforts to impress, or the need for you to become a different version of yourself. Between you, there will be a gentle understanding, quiet yet clear enough that your heart will no longer need to question everything. You will realize that some connections do not arrive with great noise. They come like light entering a dark room, slowly revealing everything in its true form. I have preserved that moment not to overwhelm you, but to show you that what is genuine does not usually need to be forced. It finds its own way into your life through naturalness, order, and peace. This person may be admired by many and noticed because of what they display outwardly. Yet very few may see the emptiness that remains behind all the praise. They have stood among many voices, while still feeling alone. Others have often approached them, but few have truly listened. They have received beautiful words without feeling deeply understood. Attention can make a person visible, but it does not always bring healing. Therefore, when they meet you, what causes them to pause will not merely be your appearance, the way you speak, or anything you are able to prove. It will be the depth you quietly preserved through difficult years. They will recognize the gentleness in the way you face life, the strength within your silence, and the unadorned sincerity within your eyes. That will touch a place the admiration of the crowd has never reached. There were days when you doubted your own worth and wondered why you were not chosen, why things that seemed hopeful disappeared before they could fully form. At times, you looked back and believed that you had failed in love, given too much while receiving too little, or waited far too long without seeing an answer. I know those questions exhausted you, but during the seasons when it seemed that nothing was happening, I was protecting you from what could not accompany your future. Not every closed door was a loss. Some paths had to end so that you would not continue walking deeper into places that would draw you farther from peace. Some people could not remain, not because you were not good enough, but because they belonged only to a chapter that had already passed, and not to the season you are about to enter. If old relationships had continued merely because you feared loneliness, you might have exchanged too many precious parts of yourself to preserve something that was never built upon a lasting foundation. If former doors had remained open, you might have been too occupied with holding on to the familiar to recognize that something more suitable was drawing near. Therefore, what did not work out carries a sacred meaning, just as surely as what is about to be fulfilled. I used absence to teach you the value of genuine presence. I used broken promises to show you the weight of consistency. I used shallow conversations to deepen your longing for sincere connection. Every experience left behind a lesson, and those lessons are helping you enter this new encounter with clearer eyes, a more mature heart, and deeper discernment. This meeting will not merely change whether or not you have someone beside you, it will also change the way you see yourself. You will understand why you often felt out of place during conversations that never reached any depth. Why you could not maintain closeness with people who wanted to know only what was easily visible, but lacked the patience to understand your quiet places. This never meant that you were too complicated, too sensitive, or difficult to love. It only meant that I placed within you a longing for what is genuine, and you could never remain satisfied with what stayed only upon the surface. You seek a presence that knows how to listen, companionship that carries responsibility, and a love that does not force you to continually question your place. What you desire is not unrealistic. It is a sign that you were created for a connection with depth and purpose. The person who is approaching you will not come with hands completely empty of memories. They have passed through their own seasons, carrying wounds, moments of confusion, and lessons purchased with tears. They placed trust in the wrong places, tried to appear strong while inwardly exhausted, and concealed their vulnerable parts because they feared being looked down upon. I did not allow those experiences to destroy them. I used those seasons to soften their heart, teach them humility, and open their eyes to the value of sincerity. When they meet you, they will not see you as someone who must rescue them from every difficulty, and you must not place upon them the responsibility of filling every empty place within you. You are not coming together to become the whole world for one another, but to support, illuminate, and encourage one another to move closer to the purpose I planted within each of you. The harmony between you will not be found in being identical in every way. There will be places where you are strong while they hesitate, and places where they are steady while you are still learning to trust. Those differences do not need to become distance. When guided by respect and love, they can become a source of strength. When they cannot see clearly, your discernment will help them become calm. When you are weary, their steadfastness will remind you that you do not have to carry everything alone. They will not complete you, because your worth has never depended upon another person's arrival. But they may help you recognize beauty within yourself that you once forgot. And you may also become a mirror through which they can see the goodness they have not yet had enough courage to acknowledge within themselves. Even so, when something beautiful begins to draw near, fear may attempt to enter through familiar whispers. It will remind you of former disappointments, tell you that something like this is too rare to be real, or cause you to suspect that everything will eventually end as it did before. Remember that caution is necessary, but fear must not be allowed to take control. Discernment helps you observe actions, examine consistency, and recognize a person's character. Fear merely wants you to close the door before there is enough light to understand what is happening. I am not telling you to trust blindly. I want you to walk slowly, preserve your boundaries, listen to the peace within, and allow time to test what is being revealed. Yet, do not destroy something good merely because old memories are still speaking. I am not limited by what you believe is reasonable or possible. I can bring two people together through an ordinary circumstance and still create a profound transformation. I can use a conversation that appears accidental to open the way to an understanding both people have sought for many years. I can also restore your trust, not through grand promises, but through patience, kindness, and clarity demonstrated consistently each day. When I am working, you do not need to manipulate circumstances, chase recognition, or force everything to move more quickly. What has truly been built for you will never require you to surrender your dignity, lose your voice, or remain in prolonged anxiety. Therefore, allow the encounter to unfold according to its proper rhythm. Do not rush to give it a name before the two of you have had enough time to understand one another. But do not pretend that you feel nothing simply because you are afraid to hope. Be present with sincerity. Say what needs to be said with gentleness, and observe how this person handles what you entrust to them. The right person will not seek you only when everything is easy. They will know how to respect silence, refuse to exploit your tenderness, and never require you to diminish yourself in order to remain. Mature affection is not recognized only through powerful emotion, but through safety, responsibility, and the desire to become better together. My beloved child, I did not allow you to pass through those years without purpose. Every time you had to release someone, every time you learned to rise again, and every time you chose kindness instead of bitterness, was preparing you for deeper companionship. This person is also being prepared along a different path, and when the proper time arrives, your two journeys will meet, not to erase the past, but to transform what you have learned into wisdom for the future. Therefore, do not fear something good simply because it differs from what you have known before. Allow me to guide you step by step and help you distinguish between temporary emotion and lasting peace. What I bring into your life will not cause you to lose yourself. It will help you see more clearly who you are. how you deserve to be treated, and the kind of beautiful love